didn't say anything after that, but I was hot.
Mm-hmm.
So I waited until my manager came in the next morning, and I was like, "What's wrong with your staff?"
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Oh, what do you mean?" I was like, "You guys have an issue here. This is a toxic work environment. I don't feel welcome here. I don't feel like I belong. Like, I know I'm essentially a traveler, but I'm coming to help you guys out. And I just feel like this is bad." And she's like, "I have this book." And she held up a book. She's like, "I have this book, and I'm going to show you guys how to, like, show everyone how to um, work well in the workplace." I said, "A book isn't going to solve this. This is a deep seated issue." And she said, "Well, then I don't think you would be fit. You're a right fit here."
So what happened?
They canceled me.
What?
Yeah,
So like 7 weeks in, they canceled you?
yeah.
Wow.
But they gave me a 2 weeks notice. So they basically said, you're not canceled like on bad terms. So they let me do like 2 weeks. And I was like so devastated because I was like, dang, I felt like I failed myself by speaking up.
Yeah.
But I don't regret it.
Yeah.
I
And
don't
you
regret
shouldn't.
it. Because I think I would have punched one of them in the face, to be honest.
I mean, I think it's important to be able to speak up for yourself. I think that that's something that just comes over time. I mean, some people are naturally, naturally stand up for themselves, but a lot of times coming into nursing, you're a new nurse, you probably have someone that's bullying you, or just there's cliques on the unit and
Mm.
stuff like that, and it takes time to kind of find your voice. So I'm glad that you were able to do that. Like that's an
Mm.
important quality to have.
It actually helped me a lot because that was the first time I feel like I've ever spoke up for myself in a workplace.
That's
Like I
great.
felt like I always kind of like brushed everything under the rug. On my first assignment, I did get into it with a doctor one time because
Oh,
he threw a clipboard at me, but
oh,
mm, we're not going to talk
I
about
would have laid right on the floor. I don't even care if that clipboard brushed my hair. I would have laid right on the
that.
floor and been like, "Thank you, God. Thank you. I see what you've done for me." And I'm just like, "Okay, so my
I really
loans
should
is
have
paid
just dropped
off."
on the
I
floor.
would have dropped on the floor. You could take me to the ED. You could get an MRI, CT, whatever you want to get. I'm on the floor. Thank you for throwing that at me. Thank
Hmm.
you. I needed to pay off my student loans. Thanks.
I really wish I did. I just confronted him and basically was like, "What is wrong with
I mean,
you?"
good that you stood up for yourself, but
Yeah.
I absolutely would have laid on the floor.
No, 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 no. You're
Yeah,
right. You're right.
yeah.
But I also feel like if I was a staff nurse, I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Why not?
I would have been too scared. Like I always
Dropping.
had exactly. Like now, I'll be like, nah. I can have a job next week. That's essentially the best thing about nursing is that you can have a job tomorrow.
That's true. Nursing, you can go. You can definitely go a lot of places. With nursing, nurses. There's no reason why you, as a nurse, are not working as
Mm-hmm.
a nurse. There's a million things you could do, as
Exactly.
we'll see on the nurse aspect.
Ooh.
Like the little plug-in, you see, the little
Yes.
shameless plug, But nah, nurses are never without jobs. But yeah, no, my
Mm-hmm.
job would have been. I'm getting paid. I'm getting paid now.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. Thanks for that, sir.
But it's funny because usually, when I start new job assignments, when I start new travel assignments, I kind of scope the scenery out.
Yeah.
I try to see like how these people are
Mhm.
before I essentially start talking. I mean, even with you and I,
Mhm.
I feel like I didn't really speak to anybody like at least the first month
Mhm.
that I was there. And then everybody's like, "Oh, okay. Daisy talks. All right, she's cool."
I feel like it couldn't have been a month for me because I am a talker. I
No, you were
sometimes
initially the only person that I really spoke
because
to.
hey,
Yeah.
but I mean, yeah, but I also feel like just like how you try to scope people out too, like and kind of scope out your environment. I feel like people also do the same. That's not that's not everywhere. I feel like sometimes people do that for different reasons. Everybody has a different motive or whatever. Sometimes it is good to kind of like sit and be still and kind of watch your environment and see like things are going. So like I get that, but what I'm saying is that it shouldn't have taken a month. That's a little wild for like other people to come and say something to you and like
Mhm.
kind of introduce themselves. I've been here for a month. My contract's over in 2 weeks. So
Mhm.
hi and bye. like
Well, no, I wouldn't say it's usually people. Well, there'll be at least one or two people who come up to me like, "Hey, where are you from?"
yeah.
Blah blah blah. but I always like to keep to myself. I would ear
Okay.
hustle. I would really see like you can see like, oh, who's the gossip? Who,
Mhm.
who's the
I was gonna
negative
say
Nancy?
sometimes it's
Like,
good to be keep that mouth shut and
yeah.
use your ears and be like, hmm.
Hmm.
You'd be surprised what people will be saying around you when they think that you're not listening. And
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. And
yeah.
I always do that.
Hmm. What'd you learn?
Essentially, what'd you
What'd
say?
you learn?
Oh,
What'd you learn?
oh, let's
We'll
just
talk about it off camera. Don't
the
worry.
funny thing is essentially like when you're a travel nurse, you're the new person, you're the fresh meat.
Yeah.
Like I could tell people whatever,
Hmm.
and they don't know me from a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
They can't vouch or do anything. Um, Not that I do that, but any travel nurse could like literally say like, "Yeah, I went to Machu Picchu last year," and
Hmm.
it could be a complete lie. Who's gonna
Yeah.
fact check you?
Yeah.
And another tip that I learned with travel nursing, I don't follow people until like I'm like towards the end of
On social media.
my yeah.
I don't blame you. I'm not gonna lie, I don't blame you because I feel like I don't know how I stick my foot in my mouth here, but I don't follow people on social media now. Just because, what do you need to see? What do you need to do? What's going on here?
I just don't like when I post something on social media and then you talking about it at work. Oh, look what this
I
person
don't like
posted.
that, but mm, all
Eh,
right. My little one of my little secrets, I guess, is I mean we all do this, okay? So I'll be grown, like we all should be
Oop,
grown here.
I'm like T.
A lot of times when like nurses call out,
Mm-hmm.
okay, are we really sick?
No.
Most of the times you're not sick. So I'm not I most of the times don't waste my call outs necessarily on being sick. So then when I am on social media or whatever, I'm doing stuff. And so I don't need, you follow me who I barely know or whatever, like, or we're cool at work. And
Mm-hmm.
next thing you know, oh, Rebecca, you know what? Let me tell you a real story, a real life story in between here, okay? Okay, when
No, I see you getting upset.
because listen, let me tell you, I got my start in nursing as an LPN.
Mm-hmm.
And when at the facility I worked at, they vacations were only by seniority.
Mm-hmm.
I was the newest nurse and I worked there for 6 years. And I would never get a vacation that I would want. So I remember actually one of the aides, okay, honestly, the aides be holding you down in nursing
Mm-hmm.
homes, they be holding you down.
Mm-hmm.
She told me, she was like, don't ever put a for vacation in here. Don't ever do it. And she's like, you're not gonna get approved. I promise you're just not gonna get approved. If you want to go on vacation, you gotta make your own vacation. I'm like, what's that even mean? Like, I gotta
Mm-hmm.
make my own vacation. She's like, you'll see what I mean. Like, you gotta make your own vacation. And so, what essentially she was saying is like, if you go on vacation, you plan it, and you're gonna have to call out on the days that you need.
Mm-hmm.
So I tested it out. I went on vacation. I can't remember the first place I went, but I remember though one of the places that I wanted to go to in that was like my dream place was Thailand.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a let me take a quick
Oh yeah, I know.
plane ride to the Caribbean here or
Mm-hmm.
Miami, okay? So I flew to Thailand and the way I planned it was there were 2 days that I needed to call out. Day one, which is like when I land there because of I was night shift, so now we're also ahead of time, so I
Mm-hmm.
have to like finagle that. And so my first leg of the flight was like 11 hours. And so I would land in time to call out for my night shift in Taipei,
Mm-hmm.
which is not as easy as it looks because guess what? Now we're in an airport. One, do I have Wi-Fi? I have to call them on WhatsApp, like So that's number one. Number
Mm-hmm.
two, I don't know when they're gonna be making announcements. Now boarding China Airlines gate
Oh
7, so
yeah.
like I have to time it, in
Mm-hmm.
that sense. But that's exactly what I did. And then also coming back, I had to call out too. And then like there was times when, like I said, most of the times I was calling out there, I was going on vacation because I had to make a vacation.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't even make any sense, but that's what I had to do.
Isn't that crazy though?
It is wild. I
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I was at JFK Airport. Literally, there was a time I had like a trip. I went to it was like a Vegas Cali trip.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up while I was in Vegas, we decided to take a bus to go to Cali, to LA, and they made like a pit stop, and it was like at a train station, and one of them like old Western chugga
Oh
chugga choo
my
choo
god.
type of trains. And so literally, I'm trying to call out, and all you hear is chugga 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 chugga, and it's getting louder and
Oh
louder.
my
There's
God.
no way for me to disguise, so I keep hanging up. Like I'm like, oh my god, like I need to just record and just be like, I'm calling out sick or whatever. Literally, that had to have been one of the fastest, sickest like calls I ever
I'm
made.
calling out.
Like, hello, like fake voice and everything, just for me to like come back. I came back home and like literally 2 or 3 days later, I was on a plane to go to Haiti for
Mm.
vacation, and I'm calling out at JFK, and at JFK was literally like I'm at JetBlue terminal. They're making all kinds of announcements. I'm like, oh my god, that was probably the most stressful part of my vacation. But did I do it? Absolutely. Do I regret it? I absolutely.
Oh
I
no.
don't. I don't regret it because you got to do what you got to do sometimes.
I was about to
I
say,
need a break.
I think there's only been the first time I ever called out because I was actually sick was this past August, and it was because I had COVID.
In all these years that you've been
I
working
never
at,
had
that
COVID.
is. Oh, I never had COVID
No,
either,
no, I
but
never. That was the first time I had COVID in 2023. You know, before they had given you all these COVID sick pay and all that.
hmm
That all was gone. So I was like,
yeah,
here I am, like a dummy in August 23. I
with
got no
COVID.
COVID pay or whatever. But that was the only time that I've called out sick and actually have been sick.
Oh
Like
wow.
I've never called out and been sick. I was always a call out for
Mm.
something, like an event or something.
Listen, we all do it. We all do it.
Because at the end of the day, if something were to happen to you, God forbid, they'll just replace you.
Listen, can we say it louder into the
Listen,
mic? Okay,
I'm
that is a
I'm
nursing tip.
I'm telling you right now, use your sick days.
Okay, use them and use them wisely.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be wasting time because that's right. If you don't like, if you leave your job or whatever, or if God forbid you get up and you drop down and you die, they're finding your replacement. They're finding a
Your job
replacement.
is filled within the next week.
And we honestly, as nurses, we are stressed enough. Okay. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
some of us aren't, those that are living in the lap of luxury, but I
That's my
mean,
dream.
that's everybody's dream. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If I could retire at before I'm 40, great for me, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's the goal. But use your sick days, take that time off. I hate when, like, we have personal days, but you can't use them.
Mm-hmm.
What's the point of that? Like, we're burnt
Exactly.
out. We are
Mm-hmm.
burnt out.
Exactly. So I will never not call out if I can't get a day off. I'm not about to kill myself. I give you all this time already. I
Yeah,
can't have one day to myself.
right. I feel
Yeah.
you.
Mm.
I love that for you.
Yes. Yes.
All right, y'all. So now we're going to get into the nurse's note. The nurse's note is where we talk about stories that have happened to us. As nurses, we have to document. Documenting is a major part of our job. And so I wanted to create a space where we document our own stories. So,
Well, you know, so like I told you, I've worked in a bunch of facilities in California. A majority of my travel nursing career has been in California.
mhm.
And I think the more experience that you have, the more stories you share, you have to be careful with who and when you share those stories.
Mhm.
So I remember I was essentially working at a job. It was my first day on the unit by myself.
Mhm.
So if you didn't know, in travel nursing, they only give you 2 days of orientation.
Mhm.
So technically, it was my third day, but
Okay.
it was my first day alone. And initially, they gave me a patient who was a motor vehicle accident, pregnant. She was nice and tucked. She was just there for observation. And my charge nurse gets a call, and she's like, "Oh, what was that? It's 23-weeker abrupting. Oh, high on methamphetamines. Oh, okay, all right." And she hangs up the phone, and then she repeats herself again. And I literally look at her. I'm like, "Who are you talking to?" She's like, "I'm talking to you. It's gonna be your patient now." So she took my patient, who is now nice
Nice
and
and
tucked,
settled.
nice
Yep.
and settled, nice and tucked
Mhm.
away, and she gave me a crash C-section on my first day off of orientation.
Y'all could do C-sections as a travel in.
Yeah, most places you can. This
Oh.
is like I've only worked at two other facilities where I couldn't
Oh.
or where I didn't. I mean, I love not going in the OR. I hate C-sections. I just don't like being circulating nurse. I know
Mm-hmm.
everybody says like it's a controlled environment, but I kind of like to like move at my own pace and
Okay.
not like at the same pace as anybody. But this was not like a nice controlled environment. It was garbage. Like it was just like she came in, she's thrashing around in bed, she doesn't know where she is.
High on meth.
High,
We
yeah,
gotta do a C-section.
bleeding, like,
That is wild.
and in my head I'm thinking, 23 weeks, like how big is this baby gonna be? The baby came out like literally the size of this mug.
Wow. I
Baby was
mean, I'm
tiny.
surprised, like,
Yeah.
with drug use and stuff.
And unfortunately that was like the first time that I really saw like, you know, people getting judged off of their drug use.
Mm-hmm.
Because one thing that I learned being in California, you're just one mistake and one like trauma away from being in the same position as those people.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
never know. I remember somebody told me that one time. I was like, nah.
Mm.
But you really like the pandemic, and I feel like just life in general just affects people very differently, and
Yeah.
they need different coping mechanisms and different outlets, and they don't have healthy outlets.
Mm-hmm.
So for her, I feel like once she did come down, I was able to actually have a conversation with her because my charge nurse was treating her like trash, like
Mm-hmm.
garbage.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, and I actually had a conversation with her like, where do you live? Like, who's with you? Like, do you have any other kids? I'm asking her all the questions and just kind of trying to get to know her as a person.
Yeah.
And she's like, you know, thank you. I really feel like, I've never had a nurse or a person actually talk to me
Mm-hmm.
and try to get to know me. And that made me sad. Because I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, essentially, she is a person. Now she's a mom. I'm sure that the baby's in the NICU. I'm sure she's kind of worried. Or
Mm-hmm.
maybe she's not. We
Mm-hmm.
don't know.
Yeah.
We honestly don't know. But I just remember thinking in my head, like, sometimes that's a bad thing about, like, knowing too much.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, you have charge nurses who try to set you up.
Mm.
Because I feel like she tried to set me up to try to, like, you know, try to frazzle me,
Yeah.
but it didn't.
Your plan failed.
She played herself.
Yeah.
She played herself.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so that was essentially like a takeaway, like it was a teaching moment for me.
Yeah.
And my whole experience at that actual facility, I did learn a lot.
Mm.
It actually opened my eyes and made me, I think, a better nurse because I had more compassion in me. Because it's very easy for us to be like, this patient is doing X, Y, and Z. Like, why would they do that? And you really need to know their whole story before you go and judge them. And I feel like that charge nurse didn't know the story. She just wanted to try to like frazzle me, and
Mm-hmm.
like the way she was talking to the patient was so disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that, like you said, is patients always gonna remember how you make them feel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Thanks for sharing.
Thanks.
Now, last question. I'm sure you get this as a traveler. Is the pay worth it? Okay. And there you have your answer.
No, okay,
And
wait,
there
wait.
you have your answer.
What I would say is initially I did travel for the experience,
Okay.
and then the pandemic happened,
Okay.
and I said, forget this experience.
Okay.
I need to be paid my worth.
All right. Well, that means Daisy is getting ducats, okay? Ducket Daisy. That's what I'm about to call you right now.
But the funny thing is, I'm ready for my next chapter. I'm ready to move on from travel nursing.
Okay.
I'm getting married soon.
Congratulations. I
Thank
saw the
you.
rock. I saw
Thank
the
you.
rock,
Thank
girl.
you. Yeah, so I'm getting married soon. I have a house in Atlanta.
Okay.
And
Because of ducats.
yeah, I mean, essentially, travel nursing paid for that house.
And I'm not even mad at you.
Yeah, travel nursing really paid for that house. And
Okay.
I'm very thankful for the opportunities that it gave me. I'm thankful for all of the things that it exposed me to. It made me a stronger nurse, a better nurse, but it also put me in a better financial situation. But, I think it's ready. It's about time to close that chapter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, cheers to the next chapter of your life.
Yes, I have no idea. But, I mean, I'm the finesse queen. I always figure it out.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for being a part of the nurse
Thank you for having me. This
aspect.
was so fun.
Thank you. I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah.
If you guys want to ever share a story to put in your own nurse's note, please email me at thenurseaspect@gmail.com. We out here.